When Hamza Taweel was just 16 years old, he and his friend Ahmad al-Julani were arrested by Israeli forces on October 27 and November 8, 2021 respectively, on suspicion of throwing a Molotov cocktail at Israelis in occupied East Jerusalem. After spending an initial 2 months in Israeli prison, the boys were placed under house arrest, which on paper is a judicial alternative to imprisonment, but which in practice is a tactic Israel uses to isolate and restrict Palestinians, mostly juveniles, from moving beyond a specific location while their trial is ongoing. Israeli authorities isolated Hamza and Ahmad from their families and friends in occupied East Jerusalem and forced them to stay locked in a house far away for 2 years. The two boys stayed in a house near Gaza for the first 6 months before receiving approval to move to Tel Aviv, where Hamza's brother worked.
الحبس المنزلي ما كانش يسوي ولا إشي يعني يصلي في الدار قاعد يلتي على التلفون أما ينزل وهون ما فيش فيها كانوا يجوا زي تفقيد يعني يفقدوا قاعد في الدار يعني مرات يجوا الصبح مرات يجوا في الليل مرات يجوا يعني تلاقيهم الساعة 12 في الليل يعني في عز النوم.
Throughout the 2 years they spent under house arrest, the boys were denied their right to education and were under strict surveillance, both by the Israeli police who would raid the house at random times to make sure they were at home, and by 4 temporary guardians and close relatives of the boys, who were not only required to pay a security deposit subject to confiscation if the boys violated their house arrest, but also to cover the rental fees for the house Israeli authorities forced the boys to stay in.
تقريبا شهر 5 فتحوا لهم إنه الحبس المنزلي إنه 3 ساعات 4 ساعات. آخر إشي سمحوا لهم إنه يوم واحد يعني يوم 3 يا 4 أخذهم من تل أبيب على الطيبة.
Hamza and Ahmad were only allowed to go to Taiba to attend weekly study sessions alongside convicted criminals in hopes of having their sentences reduced.
يعني الشيء هذا بيساعده إنه في المحكمة بيساعده يعني هم التنين يعني ما ساعدش ولا إشي حتى قالوا بنعترفش في المجموعة اللي في الطيبة بشهر 7 السنة هاي سمحوا لهم إنه يروحوا جمعة وسبت أما لما بلشت المشاكل قالوا لي ممنوع تروحهم.
On November 26, 2023, Hamza and Ahmad finally had their court hearing. Hamza was sentenced to 20 months in prison, and Ahmad was sentenced to 14 months in prison. In spite of completing nearly 2 full years of house arrest, their sentences were only reduced according to the months they had initially spent in prison in 2021. The two boys, now technically adults, started their sentence on November 30, 2023.
أنا بدي أسلم حالي على السريع صار يقول لي إيش ما يصير بدي أخلص من الإشي هذا يعني زهقت.